Welcome back to Empowered in Tech, Women in Tech Netherlands, the show where we amplify the voices and journeys of women shaping the future of technology and beyond. I'm your host, Ilaria Severi, Global Brand Manager, Brand Strategist, and Storyteller, but also a dancer. If you follow me on LinkedIn, you'll know. And today's episode is not just about a fascinating industry, it's about the woman behind it. In fact, our guest is Anastasia Kuskova, the co-founder and CEO of beSirius, a sustainability superintelligence platform helping companies in metals, mining, and industrials turning data into decisions that drive business results, make smarter, data-driven decisions toward a more sustainable future. Her story is one of vision, courage, and reinvention. With more than a decade in tech-enabled sustainability, Anastasia started her journey inside a large mining corporation where she led transformation initiatives and co-developed Resource, a traceability platform used across the EV supply chain, including Tesla. But it was there, inside the system, that she realized something was missing. She saw how sustainability leaders struggle with complex data and slow decisions, and decided to build a solution for her former self. Today, as the CEO of beSirius, she's leading one of the most innovative AI-powered sustainability startups in Europe, recently winning the CEOP or COP29 Sustainable Innovation Challenge. This conversation is not about mining or AI, really. It's about the human journey behind them, what it takes to build something from the ground up, to live with purpose in a niche field, and to turn insight into impact. But before we dive in, a big thank you to our sponsor, DMN Westinghouse, for their ongoing support in empowering women in tech. As a company committed to diversity and inclusion, DMN Westinghouse is actively working to increase female representation in STEM fields and is hiring for exciting roles. Visit their website or follow them on LinkedIn to learn more. Thank you, DMN Westinghouse, for supporting our mission and helping us bring these conversations to life. Well, Anastasia, welcome to the podcast. I'm so happy to have you here. How are you?
Very good. Thank you for having me. And that was quite the intro. Thank you.
Well, that's your story. So I didn't do anything there. It's all you. You know, I'm so inspired by how your entrepreneurial journey began. So not in a startup incubator, but within a large corporate environment. Can you take us back to that moment? What problem did you see in the sustainability space that made you say, like, I need to build something different?
Mm-hmm. I think we need to take it even earlier. So the thing is that I think we discussed before the podcast that the most important is the story behind.
Yeah.
And the big story of my life, I'm an immigrant, right? So I left my home country. Then I was 20. 19, something like that. And it was always the matter of finding footing, right? So building the foundation first and then doing something that you love. And for me, the big part of actually joining the corporate was on finding this foundation, finding something that I love, expertise wise. So gaining the expertise. And then really I was always inside of myself. I was always an entrepreneur.
You had it in you.
Yeah, I had businesses with my sister. Then, for people who are old enough, they know what is Life Journal. This is like the blog where so we would sell stuff on Live Journal even before like online shopping became a thing, and we would travel to buy stuff and then sell it. And we had like our first shops, and then we had the first shops selling on kind of Facebook and so on. So different stuff. So it was always like all of the small businesses that you run, just because it feels that something is missing and you want to do something. There is like a shop for that, shop for this, or whatever, like small things that you can do on the background, kind of. But there was always passion of doing something. But then also being an immigrant, you always worried about like you need to have visa, you need to make sure that you're like stable, that you have enough money, and so all of this. I think since I'm a very pragmatic and rational person, so it was always like, okay, let's just like get to this foundation first, and then see where it brings us. And for me, I'm coming from mining and metals area of Russia, so it was accidentally somehow after studying in Switzerland, I started working in commodity consulting, and then very quickly went to the industry. And within the industry, so the corporate life, it changes you. So you have to follow the pattern, you have to fit in, and there's an expected behavior. And I think for me, that was always a challenge to, I understand it now. I did not understand it back then. That it was always the challenge to kind of follow the process, fit in and follow the process, because for me, breaking the rules and doing something different was always an approach. And like doing something that doesn't make sense just because this is a process, this is also like, that was it just sucks my soul. So I cannot do that. Coming back to your question on how do you decide to build a corporate startup, there was always a thing that in the corporate world, that if you look deep enough, or if you're involved enough in the processes, you see things that don't work, that just require fixing. And I think that's the core of real entrepreneurs. They really see things that need to be fixed, that just don't make sense. So and we saw, of course, in every industry, in every field, everywhere, there is always a thing that needs to be fixed all of the time. Regardless of where you are on the timeline, etc., there are always ways. And in our industry, that is quite conservative, or to a degree was quite. It's very conservative, and it's not always technologically, especially in the corporate functions.
Okay, not advanced enough.
Yeah, because there are not enough solutions that are actually built for our industry. So you have to come up with things that really work only, you either have to adjust the things that are built for banks, or I don't know, large retailers, or whatever, fashion companies, etc. And it absolute miss, or you have to build it internally. And mining companies and companies that should build stuff for themselves in the areas that are not focused on mining or metals, but like for corporate functions, etc. But the industry dynamic and everything is very different. So there are always things that you need to you need to fix. And one of my current co-founders, he was leading strategic projects in our company, and at some point we realized that there is a very interesting opportunity internally, and the problem that we can solve. And of course, having corporate backing, you can do a lot of things. But of course, gaining that corporate backing is also a challenge. So I remember we went to our CEO, I don't know, like 5, maybe 10 times, and like on that time.
It's about persistence and the resilience.
Yeah, we tired him out, and it was like, yeah, okay, just do that. And then essentially that was a big part of gaining support from the industry, because we actually worked with our competitors. So gaining financing from them and selling the idea to them as well, because it only made sense if we do it together. And as in many sustainability initiatives, it requires a lot of collaboration. And I hate those discussions of like, oh, we need more collaboration, etc. But unfortunately,
it's true.
That's true for many cases. And it was an incredible experience, but the trigger was just gaining that footing and becoming comfortable at where you are, unleashing that you actually always had in yourself, like this frustration with things that don't really work.
I think that's indeed what you said, like, is the principle of entrepreneurship, and how many businesses started like trying to find a solution to a problem that they were themselves struggling with. So same as for you. And I'm curious about the name of the company, beSirius. Is it like is it a word game in the sense that, because what you said about not liking the corporate way of doing things, then you say beSirius, but you don't really mean it? What is it?
Yeah, I wish I had a better explanation.
Okay.
The thing is that there was a temporary name. The temporary name was Sirius, like a star.
Yeah, indeed. It's written Sirius like the star, not like Sirius SE, but SI.
Yeah.
Yes.
So like a star. For some unknown reason to me, we just decided that let's go for it. I think it was actually a suggestion from a friend who supported us in the beginning of the journey. And as everything temporary, it's stuck. And then we started to play with it a lot. And on my LinkedIn, I'm using the flexibility and the freedom and liberties of being a founder. I can say whatever, I can shitpost and do like I'm the queen of sustainability memes on and like being mean to different associations, etc. And just sharing my frustrations openly. So we joke a lot actually, and we are like, our tone in general is very sarcastic and so on. But of course, we also say like our industry is super serious, it's super conservative and like focused, and there are a lot of things you cannot say and stuff. So you kind of have to stay serious. So be serious and also, but also, you cannot take yourself too seriously. And I think that's a lot about our approach to the way we build, our approach to the way we live, and also our culture inside the company. And and why be serious is because when we try to look like serious is absolutely impossible to copyright. Like there are 10,000 businesses in every city in the world that would be called serious.
Really?
So,
Okay.
And so our domain name was beSirius for a long time. And then we realized that 90% of our clients are already calling us beSirius. And we were like, okay, maybe we test this one. And then it actually made so much more sense. And also you can actually brand that name.
Exactly. Yeah, that's why I immediately saw the brand story there. That's my background. So exactly. I was like, there's that one. And then knowing your story, it kind of made a sudden connection in my mind. So definitely there's a lot to be built there,
Yeah. So it was very organic. It was very the Steve Jobs dots will connect kind of way.
Yeah.
But I wish I had an intentional and like really cool story behind it. But it's just
Well, this will
happened.
stay between you and our audience. The rest doesn't have to know. If you want, we can write a beautiful story on how this includes your not fitting in the corporate world, but also being sarcastic. But also, that's the beauty of brand. That's why I love branding, because you can build such beautiful stories, even that sometimes founders don't even know themselves. But that's why it's so great.
True.
And I mean, you already mentioned that. You already touched upon the fact that your business is quite niche compared to other businesses. It's more difficult to get into it. But also, I mean, you have chosen it besides before being part of it from the corporate side, but then you decided to build a business in this business. What have been the biggest challenges of bringing your business, so AI and the digital transformation, in such a traditional asset heavy space? And I would like for you to tell our audience like the challenges, because maybe these are challenges that in another business but also niche, people that are listening to us may see themselves as well.
I actually think that the world is changing right now quite drastically. I think nobody would disagree with the fact that AI is changing the world. But the thing is that all of the big AI companies that have trillions for development, they will take on everything what's not niche. So staying niche is the only competitive advantage that you can have right now, and knowing the stuff that you do. And I think for me, in the beginning, the biggest challenge was to actually accept that, because after many years in the mining and metals industry, for some unknown to me and reason right now, like the first instinct was, well, I have that knowledge from my industry, but for some reason I will go and build in another industry. And this is so idiotic. I don't know why, but like I actually met quite a few people who have that feeling, maybe because you...
Yeah, or you want to expand your impact maybe as well. Like thinking like I can bring this elsewhere.
Yeah, or you think, like I see that problem in our industry, but like it's not gonna, it's too complex to try to change something here and so on.
I didn't want to take the risk, let's
Yeah,
say.
and you also have this anchoring on all of your relationships and so on, and you want to prove somebody something, etc. But that's your main asset. Just go and use your
Yeah, yeah,
network.
yeah, yeah.
So I don't know. That's more rare. But I actually met quite a few people with the same feeling. So for the first months, we would try all of the adjacent or different industries, just because it's so slow, it's so different in our industry, blah blah blah. But actually, as long as you are out, you use the knowledge of the industry, but you act outside of the perimeter of the industry, so you can break the rules and you don't have reputation to lose, you don't have anything to lose because you have nothing. That's actually the best way to transform those focused old school, or let's say conservative industries, and bring something meaningful. Because if you don't understand the dynamic, if you don't understand this particular niche where you're working, it takes so long to formulate those unwritten rules, the things that matter for people, the things like how they make decisions, etc. Those are things
Yeah.
that cannot be replaced by AI. So
Yeah.
this is the beauty and the unique knowledge, and using that is the biggest power. So staying niche, being niche, and actually knowing your niche better than anyone outside of it is the core advantage. And embracing that, I think, also a big challenge, but also understanding which rules you can break and which you cannot, and like distinguishing between them, and being brave enough on accepting that maybe you break a rule that you shouldn't have, and I mean, you'll learn from it and you'll fix it. Just kind of managing the risks there, and being experimental. I think that's important. And if we go into particular challenges on bringing technology into like AI, let's say, incorporate, because mining metals is very technological field, obviously, but more on on the
On the field.
physical
Yeah,
asset
yeah, yeah.
side. But in the corporate world, there are a lot of things that are powered by Excels, like with 25 macros on it and so on, like things that are built internally, and so on. So the big challenge there was to in the beginning, especially, but still now, there are so many unknowns in the AI. And this is the industry that is very much powered by confidential data. So it's very important to find a way to build in a way, in an acceptable way, in a security, in incredibly secure way. So we had to invest a lot in the security in the beginning. That is could be an overshot for early stage startup and so on. So like understanding your niche and understanding the nuances. But also now what we see is that the industry is leapfrogging all other industries, because they were on Excels and now they can move directly to the AI. So they don't need to switch from some tool that is not working anymore. They just need to switch from Excel. So they can even power Excels with the new tools that would just eat them. And so on. So I think there are a lot of benefits now, but after some time, then AI became more of an accepted and searched for technology, right? So
that's very interesting. And definitely, I mean, anytime, like I hate what you said, also to be realistic on what can be really changed and what you just have to accept it is what it is. And I think that's probably one of the hard truths that as an entrepreneur you find yourself facing. But I want to retake now more the, let's say, the personal aspect of it, because yeah, Anastasia and I had a little conversation before we started the recording, as I always do with all my guests, and talking about like you never become an entrepreneur. Well, you have it probably in you, like you said at the beginning, but you don't decide to start a business overnight. I would like to know more about your journey. So from leading transformation within a large corporation to building your own company from the ground up. What was the shift like? Like not just professionally, but also personally. Yeah, what surprised you the most? Like being a founder, you also said that you wanted to build something for your former self. What does that really mean to you?
Mm-hmm. So I think there are so many aspects of that question. So for me, first of all, I think I spent I should have started the company earlier.
Okay.
It's like I don't regret things in life in general, but like if you ask me if I started at the right time, I would say I should have started earlier. It's just that you get too comfortable and then you forget, and then something happens in your personal life or like in your professional, and then it triggers, and then it works. And for me, that was external triggers like the war starting, and it's a very weird logic, but as I'm originally from Russia, the start of the war affected all of us in general, especially people who are outside, who can see the things for what they are, and it just triggered, like reevaluation of your entire life. And for me, it was like, okay, imagine. I think I need to start and do something. I need to actually start to create impact in a different way. And I went for 2 weeks in this incubator in the Netherlands, Antler. And my husband told me, and like I didn't try to, I just took vacation and I didn't try to really build anything. I just looked at people who create startups, and you realize how, well, it's not easy, but like how easy it is to start, right?
Well,
so
that it's doable.
Yeah.
It's not like a North Star. It's like you can do it.
And they're just normal people. It's because a lot of people don't start stuff because they think like you have to be so special and so on. It's just normal people that just start doing something. Execution beats any idea and so on. And my husband told me that, well, I haven't seen you so like I haven't seen like the spark in your eyes for so long, and now I see that. So for me, that was the personal trigger why I was okay. Now I'm sure I will start. I had like an incredibly long notice period, so it took me a while to actually leave the company and so on. But like that was the personal trigger that changed me. But you can never prepare for what entrepreneurship is. And I think Paul Graham told it in one of his essays. He captured it perfectly. He said, every time I speak to entrepreneurs, they tell me, I knew it will be hard. I never knew it will be so hard. And it will be. And like the longer you are in this, it does not get easier. It's like the levels of the challenge increase. Of course. And my best analogy for this is that that I always repeat because I think it just captures it perfectly, is that it's like kind of a Super Mario Quest game where the level of intensity increases. So you achieve the level, you killed some monsters, you pass some challenges, whatever. You celebrate. I don't know. You raise the round. You got like an incredible client or certain revenue that you had a milestone on, and so on, and then you reach it, you celebrate very briefly because immediately you are on a more intense level, new monsters coming up, and and you constantly need to the feeling of the founder is that you cannot just chill. You have to constantly fight a new monster, and if you're fighting the same monster or there are no new monsters, that means you are stalled. That means you're not progressing, and that means something is fundamentally wrong. Because when you don't have new monsters, that means you are in a stable business that operates, etc. That's kind of a corporate life, and you are not supposed to be in that point as a startup. That means you're either already not a startup and you're a huge company, everything works perfectly, which I doubt if we talk about the first years of entrepreneurship or even first 5 years of entrepreneurship is relevant. But rather it means you are not seeing something, or you're just stuck and there's no progress. So the progress is actually the level of the increasing level of intensity. So you are constantly getting more comfortable with being uncomfortable. So kind of your level of pain acceptance is growing, and things that worry you in the first years, they become so unimportant later on, because you just, when you lose your first client or you lose the first contract that was almost there, it's a tragedy. But then it becomes like you already have patterns, you
Your
know how to deal
norm.
with it, you know how to approach that, you know, maybe how to save that, or like it becomes everything becomes a process, but then the new monster comes. So, and then you need to learn to fight it. So that's, and you never experience that as a corporate. And I also don't think anyone should force themselves to be an entrepreneur. I think there are very few people in the world that mentally are prepared for that. It's a huge toll on your family, on yourself, and like you only do that if there is nothing else that you better be doing. So
yeah. And actually, let me connect this, because this connects really beautifully to another question I want to ask, because you've been recognized among 100 global inspirational women in mining and led beSirius to win at COP29. So these are all incredible milestones, right? But then you were just talking about like how every time you reach a level, the level goes higher and higher. What keeps you grounded and resilient as a leader to keep going, to keep navigating the industry? What makes you, because like you said, like it's not for everybody, it takes a toll on you, but like what makes you like continue and keeps you grounded?
I think also two things. First, not being too serious about other stuff. It's just like you have to keep having fun doing that. If it's not, well, first of all, I think that we are all in AI simulation. So so
really? Okay.
So that's like unleashing the new level of crazy. But
okay, it's like the Truman Show. We are in a Truman Show.
Yeah.
Like this is a show and we're just characters. Okay,
I mean, like,
interesting.
what's the point of all of this? Like if you start looking at like big philosophical questions, then you just realize that like what's the point? So the point is just enjoying the process. There is no really the final milestone. You always have the goals, etc. Like the next level, the next level. But first, you never know when the game is going to end, and like you better have fun doing that. So the only the point is that if you stop having fun, then there is no point of keeping to it. So and that means two things. First, actually creating the conditions and working with people. Like I have a rule: I don't work with assholes, and for as long as I can, I just don't.
It's a nice rule.
Yeah. So, and this is very, very, I would say, personal in the sense that you decide who is in your, because I think that's very, that would, it depends on the point of view, on the vantage point, but who is and who isn't. But like you create the rules on how to keep having fun, but also like if you realize that those rules cannot be met, that you become too serious, or like you have I don't know, bad relationship with people you're working with, etc., and it's just all losing the meaning behind it, then what's the point? So being easy about that, but also that doesn't mean giving up. That means like you actually force yourself to, not force yourself to have fun, but like you force yourself to follow the discipline on making it fun. And it's also a lot about like staying healthy, spending time with people you like, also like solving problems with people you work with before they become big, because you spend with them more time than with your family and so on. So like really loving spending time with them is very important and so on. But also having those milestones, having those, you know, really cool image in your head. So for us, it's the big one is that we always say that we will be on NASDAQ, and having that image in your head, like when you're in like incredibly bad situation, or like you're just down, you know, like I had those moments, and like having that image in your head, it helps. So for me, that's it's ridiculous because I mean, NASDAQ is not the best way to exit the company. And we all understand that, but it's just that image that keeps you going. Like I had one event in London several months ago, and it was raining. I was super tired. I finished at 10. There was always like at all of those events, you know, you don't have food. So you're hungry.
Or bad food.
you're hungry, you're exiting, and then you're somewhere in the middle of London where like in this business area where nothing works at 10 p.m. and there's only one McDonald's. And I'm sorry for all the UK listeners, but McDonald's I don't like McDonald's in particular, but like in the UK, it's just horrible.
It's the worst.
And there was like something like I bought something there, and then they also didn't have like the tea I drink, so I had only warm water, and I'm drinking there. I'm eating that something tasteless, and again, apologies to McDonald's for that. That was just my choice, the bad choice of food, etc. Like I'm eating something tasteless and having that the hot water, and I'm thinking, and there's like pouring rain, and I'm cold, and I'm tired, and still hungry, and I'm thinking of this. Of me in the pink or purple, since it's our color, suit, ringing a bell on Nasdaq, and I'm thinking, this is all for Nasdaq. It sounds ridiculous, but it actually helps in that moment.
You need to have that vision. You need to have that absolute, like, not unreachable, but a hyper high goal. Because otherwise, in those days of rainy days and cheap McDonald's, what can help you really? So it totally makes sense. That's amazing. And to close it off, I want to just retouch a little bit, touch base upon the former self. So you build this business for your former self, and I would like to know, what was your former self like, but also what would you tell your former self today?
Well, my former self is essentially why I love our clients because I connect with them very, I would say, on intellectual level, I connect with them very intimately, because I understand them. I understand how they fight for budgets, what their everyday work looks like, what challenges they face, etc. So they are the reason I'm building, I think I'm the toughest person to when we release new feature. I'm the toughest. I'm giving the toughest comments and so on, because I feel and I understand like what would be convenient and whatnot and so on. So that's that part. And so my former self is the person who has to fight the corporate challenges, also working in the function that is kind of embedded in everything, but also everywhere, super important, but never has enough time or connection to financial decisions and so on. That's why we connect with financial decisions very much. So we try to help there. But so being in the middle of many things, trying to build, like being this professional negotiator in the company and so on, and constantly fighting the system or trying to being the champion and being the leader of something that not always universally understood. So and in terms of telling myself, just go for it. Dots will connect, and I think there like two things that are important for in general. If you feel that you're an entrepreneur, you want to try something, and that was always my feeling. That's why I would tell that my former self is fear of failing. And again, we're all already naked, so just go for it. And worst case scenario, you just learn from it and have a fantastic experience. Best case, you actually build something cool out of it. And that's the if you have that yearning, that's probably going to happen. And even if not, again, who cares? Just have fun. And the other thing is that I learned, I think is very important during the startup experience and the founder journey, is the night is the darkest before the dawn. So it's such a roller coaster, but if everything is good, that means something bad is going to happen for sure very soon. And if something is like, if bad things just keep coming, that means like something good is going to happen now. Like just the simulation works in that way, trust me.
Keep believing in it. No, but that's great. I think these messages are messages that you know told your former self, but these are messages for our audience as well, for the people listening. If you're thinking about building something for yourself, if you're thinking about taking that leap, do it. Yes, I think life is made of mistakes, but many times it's thanks to the mistakes that you take the right direction. If that makes
For
sense.
sure.
Well, Anastasia, thank you so much for this wonderful conversation, for telling us about your incredible story. It was a pleasure to have you here with us today.
Yeah, likewise. Thank you.
And thank you to all our listeners. And if you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to subscribe and leave a little review. It's on Spotify under our title. And follow Women in Tech Netherlands on LinkedIn to stay connected with our community. Until next time, and in the meantime, keep leading, keep learning, and keep building a more sustainable future.